Okay, we had obviously a very good result this morning from the jury where 33-year-old Frank Brett, Bredt Jr., was found guilty on both counts of murder. We had charged and indicted the defendant on 2 counts of murder under 2 separate legal theories. The first legal theory was the intentional murder, and the second legal theory was felony murder, which was committing the crime of arson, and then as a result of the crime of arson, a murder occurred. So because a underlying felony of arson occurred, we were able to charge 2 counts. He was found guilty on both counts, and Mr. Brett now is going to be sentenced now, at a later date. And we'll get that date for sentencing at a later date where he is facing 25 years of life in prison. I'm very pleased, obviously, with the outcome here. This was a horrific crime. This was a crime that occurred between an ex-boyfriend and his ex-girlfriend. This is domestic violence at its worst. This is a situation where we had a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship for about 3 years here. It was an off-and-on relationship. They actually lived together at some point at the Manhattan Avenue address here in the city of Buffalo. About 2 weeks prior to the incident, the defendant moved out and moved back into his mother's home in North Tonawanda. Over the course of that 2 weeks, there was numerous phone calls and text messages that were sent back and forth. They were obviously arguing. They were obviously having a tumultuous breakup. And what made matters worse was that, he had left some stuff at the home. He had left a dirt bike and some other articles that he owned at the home, and so that, quite frankly, gave him a reason to have to go back there on occasion to pick up his stuff. The day or so before this happened, the victim here actually put some of his stuff to the curb. And I don't say that in any way blaming her or that this is a reason why this happened. I'm just stating the facts of the case here. She had put some stuff at the curb, and he had made a comment to his boss that if she throws any of my stuff out or puts any of my stuff out at the curb, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to hurt her. So that's the only reason why I mentioned that she put stuff at the curb, to give you that context there, because again, I don't want in any way to come across that I'm blaming her for putting stuff at the curb. I just wanted to give you that picture there in that context. He then decided at about 3 o'clock in the morning on January 11th of 2018, the early morning hours, to come back to the home where he had been living 2 weeks prior. The victim lived in the upper with her 7-year-old child, not his child. They had no kids in common. They were never married. He decided to come to the residence. Like I said, she lived upstairs with her 7-year-old child, and her mother and her brothers lived downstairs. One of the brothers saw him go in the back door at about 3:20 a.m. That morning. Before he went up into the home, he had stopped in the garage. He had brought with him charcoal, lighter fluid, and lighters. He had brought that with him to the home. He went to the garage first. I'm presuming he went to the garage first to check on the whereabouts of his motorbike and other stuff that he had left in the garage. But when he got in the garage, he saw a Hawaiian punch container and some gas. So he decided, why use the charcoal and the lighter fluid? I'll use the gas. So he left the charcoal in the garage. He took the gas, poured it into the empty Hawaiian Punch bottle, and then went into the house. So now he walks in the house with the Hawaiian Punch bottle filled with gas. He still has the lighters on him, and he still has a lighter fluid on him, though, as well. He goes upstairs, and they get into an argument, presumably. We know that he lit the bed on fire. There was gasoline on the bed. We also know that he lit her on fire to a degree, because the only remaining clothing that was left on her, that was not charred off, was a small piece of her bra. That was the only thing left on her. And that small piece of her bra had gasoline on it. So we know he put gasoline on her, and we know he put gasoline on the bed. He then lit the gas. We don't know whether he lit the bed first or her. In any event, she caught on fire, obviously, and he was too dumb to realize that when you're in a small enclosed bedroom, the gas fumes can also catch on fire. And the gas fumes in that small bedroom lit him on fire as well. And he spent almost a year in ECMC at the burn unit for the burns that he had sustained in this tragic incident. She was on fire. She ended up running out of the bedroom on fire, out in the living area, and, you know, quite frankly, died seconds later. Just awful. An awful way to die. I cannot even imagine being burned alive and dying. This was a horrific act, and, you know, he was spared his life from his burns. She was not spared her life, and therefore now he hopefully is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. And I can only say that to the family here that I cannot imagine, like I said before, I cannot imagine your loved one going to their death in this manner. But my hearts and my prayers will be with the family for the rest of their lives. And as I said, we will be asking for the max punishment of 25 years of life in jail. And as long as I'm living, I will do whatever I can to ensure this office in the future, in 25 years from now, when he's up for parole, make sure that they write a letter to the parole board asking him to never let him out on parole. Questions?
Where's the kid?
I don't know. I assume the kid's with some family members. The kid's father, just so you know, I'm presuming it's with the father. The father of the kid was in court every day. So, to credit to him, who followed these proceedings and was in court every day.
There's quite a bit of time between the original crime and now. Was there a delay other than his recovery at ECMC?
COVID, you know. So I mean, yeah, he was, like I said, he was over a year in the burn unit. So now we're into 2019. Then then once he's able to, I believe he has some rehab when he came out of the burn unit as well. That added on a little bit more time. Now he can finally, he's got to be able to attend court proceedings now. Now he can finally attend court proceedings, and then COVID hit, and we shut down. So, this was, one of the first cases that we wanted to get back on the calendar when we came out of COVID here. So, like I said, we're kind of, we have a pecking order now of trying to catch up from COVID, where homicides are going first. And so, again, this is one of the, the first few cases that we did. And so, the main reason, his treatment and COVID.
Is it hard to choose that order of the cases? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens.
Yeah, no. I mean, we all have our own moral compass, obviously. My moral compass is murders, rapes, and child sex acts. So in my opinion, those three are going to go first. And you know, I'm the DA, so my moral compass counts.
Is there difficulty in having to wait through the whole COVID situation with the cases now being so much older?
No. Well, yes and no. In this case, you know, the brother was a witness to him coming in the house, but you know, there was no witnesses to the actual crime itself. So it was really, you know, a circumstantial evidence case. Obviously, you know, he was found a short time later, that, you know, hiding, you know, a short distance from the residence. He was burned. You know, we knew what he had brought in the home. We knew that he had lighter fluid on him, and he had lighters on him. We found the charcoal in the garage. We knew that the Hawaiian Punch bottle was in the garage. We knew the gasoline was in the garage. So while we didn't have any eyewitness to the actual crime, we had a decent circumstantial evidence case here. So the problem with the COVID delay comes with witnesses, where, you know, witnesses, it gives them more time to go south. You know, it gives them more time to, you know, I don't want to cooperate anymore. You know, I want to move. They move out of town. Now we got to find them. That kind of thing. So, in this case, it wasn't too bad. You know, the delay didn't hurt our evidence, but we have cases where we have live witnesses where it has and is hurting us.
Do you think the bail reform is going to affect that as well? People aren't being held on bail so much, and then they're scared to testify?
Yeah, I think that the more people that are out of custody, that gives witnesses and victims a pause and hesitation. Again, if we can close the targeted loop that the governor is proposing here, which I'm 100% for, if we can close the loop on the serious felony cases, and we have an easier time keeping them in custody, that will help us out tremendously with victims and witnesses. Absolutely. That was a great question. Absolutely.
Was he in custody after
Yes.
he left East
Yeah.
Hampton?
Yeah, he's been in custody the whole time. Yeah. I know you guys asked for an update on the Blackthorn. I don't have any evidentiary update at this point. I do have an update in the sense that, you know, last week I stood up here, or at my desk, I forgot, and I was critical, quite frankly, rightfully so, of the cooperation that we were getting in this matter. That has changed. We are now, the next morning, my general phone line here was ringing off the wall. People were calling who were at the bar and who had information. So we have been getting, over the course of the past week now, almost a week, much better cooperation. You know, the Buffalo Police Department is taking interviews with all the people who have come forward, and so we're just doing them interviews and compiling the information that we're getting, and then when we get a full picture, I will let you know. Okay? All right, anything else? All right, good to go. Thanks, guys.